Hello, welcome back. So we're continuing the build series with the drag car based on a Traxxas chassis. So we've been working on a Traxxas chassis, which is off of a Slash LCG, and then we took the front end and rear end with some modifications from a Bandit. That's our project so far, and if you've been following the videos, this is the 1991 Mustang Fox Body that we're using as the body. In a previous video I recommended that after you cut everything out, you just wash it with dish soap to get some of the oils, lipids, greases off of the body for paint. That way you don't get the little spots, fisheye, things like that. But I'm almost finished prepping it, but I figured, let's just make a video. Usually I would, before painting, just use some rubbing alcohol and then just go over the body just to remove any residues that may have been left even after I washed it. So one of the things, always make sure you wash your hands. I mean, dish soap is great. It'll get rid of most of those greases that are on your hand, little oils. If you have sweaty hands, I mean, just wear gloves, because where you touch the body, you're going to get those fingerprints or those prints once you spray the paint on. So just wash your hands. Don't use regular moisturizing soap. Never use moisturizing soap when you're working with this if you're not going to wear gloves, because you're going to get all that moisturizer. Those are just greases, right? Just grease, and you're going to grease up the body again. If your hands sweat a lot, once again, wash your hands. Maybe you should wear gloves. My hands, you can't see, you can't feel, but they're dry as can be. Just naturally, they're dry. But I generally take my old t-shirts, cut them up once they're clean. These are the old ones. Once they have holes, and I'm supposed to retire them even though I don't want to. And I just use a little bit of alcohol, dab some, and pour it. But I'm going to be using napkins because, again, most of you that are watching are probably beginners trying to get into the hobby. That's the purpose of the video. So you're probably going to use paper napkins. Important thing, make sure the napkins are clean. Just dab a little bit of alcohol in there. And then the important thing is that when you're cleaning, I'm just going to do the roof. Don't do this side by side. I mean, you can. Sometimes it works if you go side to side. Actually go in a circular motion. So as you're applying the alcohol, you want to go in a circular motion. This actually cleans the oils off a lot better. And usually you want to do just a small area. So for example, if you do the roof, and then grab another clean napkin and then wipe off. And when you wipe off, again, circular motion. Now, circles aren't going to get everything out. Maybe there's creases in the body, so there, you're just going to follow the line. You may want to go back and forth. If you can do a small, little, tiny circular motion, go for it. If not, don't worry about it. Now, here for my body, I purposely left the roof just for the purpose of this video. But that is it. Now I'm just wiping off anything. The reason why you want to wipe off and just follow through with a clean towel is, even if you've done the dish soap, even if you have used the rubbing alcohol, sometimes there might be something left, and you really want to get everything off before you mask. Then after you mask, you can just do a small little quick clean. But that way you don't pour a lot of alcohol on your masking, depending on the type of masking tape that you use. Now, really quick note, so this was the body, is the body. I'm going to show the rear end. These two were those two other pieces. I did not show how I cut these. It's just the same procedure as the body, but these are the two other pieces that come with the Mustang Fox Body. Notice the difference in the design from these. You just follow the lines, but the important thing is this piece here. If you ever buy this body and you can't figure out where this goes, This just goes here on the rear end, so it just fits there. And I'm gonna have to put some alcohol again where I put my fingers. But anyway, this piece, notice the line, just goes in here. So you can just double stick this, or you can use the body reamer and ream 2 small little holes and then put some screws through it. Now, in a previous video, I showed you how to use the body reamer to make the holes in the body. Just use the same method, same strategy. So you can use double stick tape again, or you can make 2 little holes and stick it that way. It's probably better to use 2 little holes, and the reason why is when you put the stickers on here and then you put this on, you're not going to be able to see the lights unless you don't want to or you don't care. I'm going to leave this clear just so I can see the lights there, because I actually like the way they look. If you don't care, then you can just paint this whole entire thing. Don't worry about the stickers, and then just stick it on there with double stick tape. It's up to you. I also think screws hold things a little better, and it's less weight on the body. Now once you have this other wing actually sits on top of this. Oops. So just on top. So this is going to go here. Again, you can tape it or you can screw it on. I would just screw it on. So it's going to look like this on here. And then on the body, it will sit. See, that goes there. And then you see this body line? That's where the edge of the spoiler goes. So just place it there. And I will show you a final product. Do not worry, but that is the side view. So on a Fox Body Mustang, if you're wondering how these wings work, it's 2-piece. This goes here, right? The wing goes here. This goes toward the body. And that's it. So now we have to mask this up, and I'm going to do a different design. And the method I'm going to be using is going to produce a one-off. So if I ever want to replicate it exactly the same, it would be almost impossible. You're going to see why. It has to do with the way I cut up the tape. Now, masking tape, do recommend, there's different masking tapes you can use. The one I recommend is generally go to an automotive store, automotive paint. And you go in there and just buy masking tape from them. The tape is generally very good. Buy 1/4-inch tape. Because 1/4-inch tape is very easy to just kind of bend and keep one piece and do turns and bends about a body. That tape does very, very good. Now, for the purpose of this video, because some of you may be working on this, and I don't know if you can drive or not, because you might be pretty young and you can probably get your parents to go get you some masking tape, but let's just say you're just running about the house trying to see what you have. Somebody's probably done some painting around the house. You're probably going to have something like this blue stuff, or maybe some frog tape. You know, these are good enough. They're not the best, but I'm going to go ahead and use this because I'm going to assume this is probably what most newbies are going to have laying around the house, just because you would use it. Now keep in mind, this paint that goes on the body, this is an aerosol paint. It's a lot thinner than house paint. House paint's a lot thicker, so this does a very good job with house paint. Aerosol, you're going to see sometimes it kind of bleeds through. With this tape, you need to make sure your body is not cold. If this is cold, this will not adhere very well, and the paint will bleed under the tape. But if it's your very first paint job, or you're not that delicate about it, it's going to be good enough. Now, for the design that I'm doing, this is good enough. So we're going to start masking it up. So first I'm actually going to do the windows. The windows are the most important part because I do want to see through the windows. So that's the tape that has to go down first because that's what I want to remove last. Now this is actually a different type of tape that I got from Proline. It's better than the other previous body. So this one actually came off nicely, and it seems that it's going to be nice to install and remove after. So I'm just going to follow the lines, place it, don't don't rush it. Because bad things happen when you rush it. I mean, just ask Napoleon, for example. He rushed it. Or was that Russia? Oh, whatever. Just take your time. Take your time. The center really doesn't really matter. It's the edges that are the most important. I like starting in, out though. But the edges, make sure that is sealed. So this is where you really want to apply some pressure. So just bring the tape together with the body. And if you get bubbles in the middle, it doesn't matter. This isn't a tint job. If it were a tint job, that'd be a different story. But once it's close together, I'm going to start applying pressure to all of the edges. And that is it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other ones really quick, and I'll be right back. Right, here we go. Okay, so the windows are there. Again, there's some bubbles there, but it doesn't matter. What you want is the edges to seal so that the paint doesn't seep through. So nobody cares about the bubbles. This isn't tint. This is just masking tape. All right. So at this point we're ready. So you really have to think of the design. What do you want? Do you want some stripes? Do you want some race stripes? Do you want some just random lines everywhere? I want random lines everywhere. That's really what you're going to do. So one of the things that I want is I want sort of a main color over here and then another color and maybe another color there. So I'm going to break this up. But before I break this up, I'm just going to cut strips of tape, and I'm going to cover up parts that I do not want painted because maybe I want the roof to be one color, which happens to be the case. So let me go ahead and tape up the roof. Never mind, I changed my mind on the color I want the roof. I was thinking of originally having it silver and using black somewhere else, but I'm going to make this black, so that's going to be the first thing I'm going to paint. So really quick, whenever you're painting, you want the darker color to be first. So I want black to go on first, and the reason why is if I paint white and then I paint black over it, it's going to change that white. So I want to paint the black first, because then if the white goes over the black, nothing's going to happen. So that being said, I'm actually going to mask the car. I'm going to put the design that I want, and then I'm going to mask everything except for this. I'm going to paint this black, wait for it to dry. Then I can go ahead and unmask the next part, paint that, and just keep unmasking little by little. So let me go through the whole design with you. So some of the things that I'm going to do are, I'm just going to cut some pieces of tape like this. All right, I can cut them shorter, that's fine. But then I'm actually going to just grab an end, and I am just going to start tearing. However it tears, that's going to be the design. There we go. And then I'm just going to grab one of these strips and I'm just going to lay it somewhere. This is why these become one-offs, because to tear other tape exactly the same would be almost impossible. Now it's up to you if you want these straight lines. If you don't want those straight lines, you can just grab another piece of tape and put it right next to it. Actually, if you want a little line in between, just leave a small little gap. It actually looks pretty cool. And then you can have a little line in between these lines. So this is really all that I'm doing. So again, I am going to reuse that other piece of tape. I'm just going to cut strips of tape, and I'm just going to start tearing. And then however it comes out, that's going to be my design. Now, if you get a piece like this, you can decide, do you want to put it over here, switch it? It doesn't really matter. So I'm going to continue masking, and I'm going to be back, and then I'm going to show you how the car looks once it's fully masked. So I'm still masking this up, but one of the things I want to show you is that's a straight line right here. So I actually took 2 pieces of tape, put them back to back, and the reason why is I want that straight line because this will be this color and this will be this color. So you'll see how I go about unmasking, and you'll see the final design. So I'm just going to continue on, but as you can see, I'm just putting pieces of tape in different ways. Now, if you don't, let's just say you've got these little lines, but you don't want a straight edge. Sometimes you want a straight edge, and then you can just kind of place it wherever there's a straight line. But if you don't want it, I mean, just tear the tape on the other side. And then you can get rough edges on both sides. And that's all you got to do. So here we go. So I can just do that, place it there, right? Rub your finger on it, try to touch the actual Lexan as little as possible, and that's it. Now, if you're here on these body creases, just run your nail through it. Right? Just tape seats properly. So run your nail through those, run your thumb or a finger through those. So I'm going to continue on, and you'll see the rest of the masking. Alright, so I've put several strands of masking tape on here. So right now design's not very clear. I mean, I'm sure it looks pretty ugly as it is, and that's generally the way it's going to go. So the roof is all going to be one color. That's why I didn't do anything on the roof. But now we're going to mask something else. Now really quick, you can buy paper that's meant for masking. You can use that. You can get that at automotive stores. I mean, the Home Depot sells it, Lowe's sells it as well. I would stay away from newspaper because the paint will bleed through. Something else that you can do is just get a plastic bag, right? This is a plastic bag. This was actually out of my VXL body, and I've kept the bag. I just opened it up and I use this plastic to mask. You can just fold it, put some tape, mask whatever it is that you don't want to paint, and just do that. If you need smaller strips, you can just cut smaller strips. So I'm going to be using this to mask everything that I don't want to be a particular color, because remember, I'm laying some black down first. One of the things when you're masking is you also, if you start using plastic or paper, you want to bend and create this straight edge, and then you can lay it down. If you don't put the tape on that straight edge before you placed it because of the type of contours you're working with, that is all right, as long as you just follow with your thumb. You want the tape to grab at least half of each surface. If not, just apply another piece of tape. And again, use your nail for the little contours of the body, and just use your finger, run it along. If you have any excess, that's fine. Just kind of bend it and stick it somewhere. It'll be all right. But again, you want to have that straight edge so you can run the plastic. Now, in parts like this here, so like this little area, you're just going to continue on. And for example, I want to mask everything, but I don't want to mask these A-pillars. So I'm just going to turn the tape. I'm going to mask over the part that's already masked. And that's it. Just press again, and you are fine. Now, something that you can do, I did not do it here because this is easy to peel. That's the reason why. But if there's places where it's a little more challenging to peel, just make little tabs. See how I folded the tape over? So this will make it really easy to just grab, peel off. Over here, major tab, peel off. So you can just do that. Now, tape everything up. So even here, for example, you may think, well, this is plastic, that's already masked. There's no point in putting tape here, but actually there is, because you can get some of the fumes from the aerosol to seep in through here, and then the Lexan now has some overspray that you did not want. So just tape everything up. Don't go too cheap on tape. That's why you're buying masking tape and not gaffer's tape. Gaffer's tape is extremely expensive, so don't use that. Don't use duct tape either. I mean, duct tape will leave glue residue. That's why you want to use masking tape, and you want to use a quality masking tape. The cheaper masking tapes, or really old masking tape, will leave some of the glue residue behind. So keep that in mind. So we've masked this. Now the only thing I have to mask is this rear part. I'm still debating whether I want to mask these sides or not. Probably will, but we'll see. And over here I used a little more masking tape. That is all right. If you think you should use more masking tape, use more masking tape. Don't go cheap on masking tape. And we are finished. So we've masked this up with plastic, the sides as well, and this. Everything else is going to be black. So now the only thing that is left to do is just to grab just a tad of alcohol. You don't want to overdo it because you can mess up the glue, the adhesive on the masking tape. But wherever your fingers went, just go ahead and wipe off. And then again, grab the other one, any excess, wipe off. And that is it. I didn't touch that, so I am good. All right, so we're gonna apply paint. Really quick, when applying paint, do not do it in a cold environment. Rule number 1. 2, don't do it in a too humid environment. So right now, it's raining outside, so I'm in a bit of a pickle. I'm gonna have to do it somewhere else. So we will see what happens. Another important thing is just apply a coat. Don't try to cover everything at the same time. There's a lot of glare so you can't really see. But for example, here, if I turn it, you will see that it's not completely black. Oh, the bottom one is easier to tell. Don't try to coat everything with one coat. Apply a light coat, wait for it to dry a little, just so it's sticky, right? You can touch the masking tape. Don't touch the part that you painted on the Lexan. Just touch the masking tape. If it feels sticky, apply the next coat. If it doesn't feel sticky, because it's still too wet, then just leave it alone, let it dry. If for some reason you have nowhere to go to paint the body, then just wait. You really want to paint outside to make sure it's a well-ventilated area to paint. Now I'm just waiting for that to dry before I unmask and go with a different color. But paints generally come in aerosols. So you want to buy aerosols. It's easier. Now Traxxas is owned by Horizon Hobbies. They make some pretty good paint. And then you have Tamiya color. I actually really like the Tamiya paint. It lays on well. The only thing is, again, if you're on a budget, there is a difference. You're looking at 100 milliliters here, so 100 grams, and 127 grams of the black paint, so 4.5 ounces, 100 milliliters versus 127. So they're about the same price. Actually, I think the Tamiya is about $1 more, possibly. This one's about $8 or $9. This, I paid $8. So keep that in mind. Like I said, Tamiya paint, love it. Traxxas, very good paint as well. And there are a variety of colors. The only thing I'm going to mention is if you buy Tamiya paint, make sure you get the PS and then the number. Do not get the TS. The PS is the one for Lexan. If you get the one that has a T, it will chip off. So make sure you get the PS. So you want to get some polycarbonate paint for Lexan. It's flexible, so when you crash, it flexes. All right, so at this point, we're finished with everything that I wanted to paint black. Again, when you test it, you want to touch the masking. You don't want to touch this to test to see if it's dry or not. But now I can go ahead and start taking off some of the masking. Now we will continue, and in the next video we will do the other colors for the car. For right now, thank you very much for watching. Like, dislike, comment, ring that bell, subscribe. Thank you so much. Be good.